Okay, so welcome to the final mastermind for the Perfect PR Challenge. I'm hoping I will be awarding some prizes tonight. We've got some prizes for the People's Champion in the group, the top referrer for the group and the mastermind, and also the challenge winner, which all of you who've completed the challenge put your names into a prize draw, and I'll draw it on the call tonight, and the winner will win an afternoon tea delivered to your own home. So yeah, so we'll crack on. So tonight's plan. So I'll talk about the 3 mistakes most businesses make with their PR and how you can avoid making them with advice that you can action today or tonight if you want. And then I'll give an overview of my new Biz to PR Whiz course, which will start on the 11th of May. Plus there's some amazing bonuses connected to that course, which I'm really excited to talk to you about, because there's some exciting collaborations with other experts that I think would really help you. And then obviously we've got the prizes as well. There's also an opportunity for Q&A. So if there's anything that you don't fully understand from the advice that I'm giving, or if you've got any questions regarding the Perfect PR Challenge or even about the course, then feel free to ask as we go through. So who am I? For those of you who don't know, I'm a PR and marketing expert for over 20 years now, which makes me feel really old. I'm also a luxury travel specialist, so I do luxury concierge services, because my background in PR, I did PR for airlines and the luxury travel industry. And then when COVID hit, I actually, it wiped out most of my clients because there were airlines, restaurants and bars, hospitality clients, theatre, big cultural events, you name it. I thought it was quite diverse. And then realised that COVID could wipe them all out. And just before COVID hit, like a week before COVID hit, I signed up to train as an independent travel agent, because I thought actually I could use a lot of my airline knowledge and knowledge from traveling the world, because we're quite well travelled as a family, and I can apply that and actually offer concierge services to busy business people. And it would also dovetail with the airline stuff that I was doing, because quite a lot of the journalists were getting free flights, but then they're having to organise their own hotel accommodation when they got to their end destination, and I was doing that anyway but wasn't getting paid for it, so I thought it was a bit of a no-brainer to do that. And then obviously COVID hit, wiped everything out, and I thought, well, at least I've got the time to do the training, so that's what I did. Then spotted a niche in the market for luxury concierge services, because quite a lot of busy business people who were still traveling despite COVID weren't traveling because they didn't have the time to fill out all the paperwork and read about the restrictions and what testing they needed and all of that, and they didn't have time to plan it out as COVID safe as possible. So I did all of that for them, and I started my own company, Sarah Stevens Escapes, to do just that. So I understand the point of view of someone who's a new entrepreneur who's just started out the business, because that business for me was born right in the middle of the pandemic, when people would argue that I was absolutely crazy to set up a travel business in the middle of the pandemic, but it's worked, and I've made it work, and I spotted that niche in the market and tapped into it. I've also had my own PR and marketing boutique agency for it becomes 13 years this year, and obviously airlines, travel, hospitality were my main clients, and luckily for me, I'd already scaled back and moved my consultancy firm back to home pre-lockdown anyway, which was really good for me. So that's still going. and I'm offering more training now, because something else that happened just before COVID, quite fortuitously, was Manchester Metropolitan University approached me, the business school there approached me and said, because that's where I studied, they approached me and said, would you write a sales and marketing course for our management diploma? Because we actually want someone who's got a lot of experience, because it's a management diploma who they're in industry already and the companies are paying for them to do this diploma. So we want someone who understands what it's like to live and breathe business, as well as the theory behind it. So I thought, what the hell, I've never done a course before, I'll have a go. Did a course for them, delivered it, and I ended up delivering it virtually, and delivered it on every single platform known to mankind, because they didn't have any set policy for it at the time, and loved it. Really enjoyed it, and the student feedback was the best that they'd had on the management diploma program, and the one-on-ones I did with the students, they all again fed back and said that it was really great because I understood what it was like working in business. And the examination board said it was the best example of a sales and marketing course they'd ever seen for a management diploma. And so then I continued to work as an associate lecturer for MMU, lecturing on innovation and creativity and entrepreneurship, tourism entrepreneurship, and a few other things as well. And then I just realised this, well, the end of last year, that maybe I should be doing it for myself and actually teaching entrepreneurs how to do PR and marketing. And that's when the new Biz to PR Whiz idea, I came up with it, and then we've delivered the beta version to great feedback, and yeah. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also an advocate for life after child loss. The little girl you see in the picture there, she's my youngest, Aurora. I also have 2 older children who sadly are no longer with us. So I have an ambition by the end of the year to have my own charity called Violet Skies. Over the years, I've actually already raised £50,000 for Alder Hey Children's Hospital. So my daughter's name is on their donors board there. But I'd like to do more, and by having my own charity, it means I can give pots of money to smaller worthwhile causes, and so in order to do that, I need to go from being one-on-one with my consultancy business to one-to-many, so doing more courses and workshops and that kind of thing, and I'm also helping other people to start their own travel businesses too, so I'm mentoring them and helping them to do that, and that will enable me to actually free up more of my time so that I can then spend it setting up and creating my charity and doing that charity work. So that's me in a nutshell, and now I absolutely love helping independent entrepreneurs like yourselves to do your own PR marketing. So the 3 mistakes most businesses make with PR, and these are things that I quite often find when I go into businesses that say, oh, we already do PR, or PR doesn't work, or well, they say we already do PR and it doesn't work, or they will say, oh, PR is rubbish. And this is what I usually find out. So first of all, they're targeting. Quite often people forget about the main marketing strategy when they're looking at the PR, and they think, oh yeah, I would love to have an article in Forbes, that'd be really good, that'd be lovely. And but if the target audience isn't reading Forbes, then maybe that's not the right market for them. And you'll see quite a lot of people go, oh yeah, I've featured in Forbes, I've featured here, but if your target market aren't interested in that, then there's almost no real point. There might be a point if you're looking to get more kudos, if you wanting to sell your business, maybe, so you're wanting people who buy businesses to see you, then that could be of value. But if you want to do PR to generate more sales, then you need to obviously know exactly where your audience are going to be. So what do your audience read? Where do they live? Where do they go? What do they do as a job? Where do they go? How do they consume their media? So, for instance, if they commute to work, do they read the metro on the tram? Are they listening to podcasts? Are they? How do they consume the news? Do they watch the TV in the morning? Do they listen to a radio? If radio, what radio station do they listen to? Do they listen to the local radio, for instance? Are your customers within a certain geographical area? Are they? Do they have similar lifestyles? I've worked with people who said that their clients are very, very diverse, and you couldn't possibly categorize them. And I've said, well, look, they must have something in common. So if you map out your most frequent customers or clients, there'll be some thread within them, some commonality that they have in common, probably. Or you might have two different audiences. So I know that Judith, during the challenge, you have two different audiences. You have a business customers and consumers who buy your products. So again, there's two groups of people. So you'd probably look to target your PR to the different groups, just like you would advertising. You know, if you're going to do a leaflet drop in a particular area, you're not going to drop it in an area that A, you don't serve, and B, you think, well, actually, they probably can't afford my services here. You're just not going to do it. So why would you do that with your PR or any other method of promotion that you're undertaking? So it's really important to have that defined. And I know we did some of this and we looked at it as part of the challenge, but I just thought it was really important to recap. Anyone who missed all of the content for the Perfect PR Challenge, the 3 video sessions are available to watch back that will go into targeting in a little bit more detail, and give you some exercises to do as well. So that could be quite useful for you. And then the next thing is the story. So again, so many businesses that I've worked with in the past have gone, oh, yeah, we've got this new dish on the menu. So there's your story. And be like, well, how is that relevant to the media that you want to feature it? Is there something unique about that dish? You know, is it sustainable ingredients? Is it locally produced thing? Do you grow the garlic in a tub outside the front of the restaurant? What is unique about that the media are going to be interested? What is the hook? So any story that you're thinking of trying to sell it into the media, you kind of need to have some kind of hook for them. So why would you kind of flip it on the head on the targeting thing, and you think about PR from the perspective of the journalist or the editor that you want to feature your story. So what do they want to hear about from you? So who are their target readers, which hopefully will be the same as your target market, and what will they want to read? It's really important to, if you have already identified your target publications, say you want to be in your local newspaper, well, start reading the local newspaper. You can't pitch them a story if you've never read the local newspaper. So start reading it, and I'd say start reading and consuming that media for a few weeks before you then try to sell them a story in, because by doing that, by reading it, you'll get a feel for the kind of stories they like, what they've written about before. So if you've got an idea for a really great story, but someone's already pitched that story and it's been featured the week before, then the likelihood is they're not going to want to run that same thing again. But you could take that story and think, how can I make it different? So it's a similar thread maybe, or a similar theme, but or how can I bring it more up to date if it was a few months ago and maybe the landscape's changed. Think about that quite carefully, because then when you speak to an editor or a journalist, you already know what they've written about in the past. So you can even say things like, I know you've featured blah, 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 who are in the neighbouring town and do something kind of similar to me, and you featured them a few months ago. But the unique thing about what I do is da, 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 and that's different from them because of X, Y, Z. And I do this and that. And it might be that you've got a unique personal story. You might have started out in the middle of the pandemic. You might have started your business during the pandemic when everyone laughed at you and thought you were crazy, which is what happened with me with travel. Everyone's like, what, you've started a travel business in the middle of a global pandemic, are you crazy? And clearly I am crazy, but that's not the bigger story. The bigger story is it's now working and it's doing really well. But think about what that angle might be for the media, for you. And the story is everything, because I had a previous client on one of my courses who said that she'd been approaching the Metro newspaper for about 5 years trying to get featured, and approached them with obviously different angles, different stories, different words, and she did work with me by week 4 of my course, because I taught her how to get all the foundations in place for the targeting, for the tone of voice, for the branding, and she just tweaked her existing website and her social media, and swapped out some of the words she was using and some of the visuals. She reached out to this editor again using the new kind of words and language and things, and a slightly different approach to the story that she had for her, and she was featured the following week. So it does work. It does work. It's all about crafting it and making sure that you've, within the first couple of lines of your email to that journalist or editor, you succinctly give them the story and what the hook is in that one line. So almost like when you're doing a tweet on Twitter, you've got, well, historically you had 140 characters to put in to Twitter, and so you had to be quite succinct in the message. The same goes when you're talking to journalists and editors. They're so busy, they've got a million and one things to do. They literally haven't got the time to go through, hi, how are you? Did you have a good weekend? And all the niceties that we do as English people. So the story and the hook is really, really important. And that's, again, something that we can go through. And then the call to action. Again, so many people get this wrong, and it's something that's so vital, not just in your PR, but also in your social media and advertising. And this is why PR is so intrinsic as part of your overall marketing strategy, because there's so many factors that are commonalities that you need to have in place across all of the different media you use, different strategies you use. As you know, PR is just one of the promotional tools that's available to you. And so your call to action, it's really, really important to have that at the bottom or within any social media posts, at the end of any press releases that are going out. You need to tell the people what you want them to do, because the general public as a whole, we're being bombarded every day with loads of images, whether it's social media, whether it's advertising, whether it's billboards, whether it's our phones pinging, whether it's pop-up ads on an app we're using, whatever it is, we're bombarded constantly. So unless you say in your post or your communication exactly what you want that person to do when they see your information, they're not going to do it. It's just like unless you usually ask a customer to leave you a review, they won't leave you a review, unless usually they're upset for some reason. Then they usually leave a review, because we are English after all. But you need to make sure you tell them what you want them to do. So whether that's at the end of your press release saying click here to buy my stuff, this is how much it costs, phone here to make a booking. If it's social media, your call to action might be like and share this image, like and tag someone you think would appreciate it, you know, like and save this image. Whatever it is, you need to tell them what you want them to do, because they're not mind readers, unfortunately. And so many businesses I've also been into that have sent invites out to an event, and they've not actually put the address of where the event is, or they've not put RSVP now to, and then a contact number or an email address. So they sent invites out and they had no idea how many people were actually going to turn up. Or someone who paid a lot of money, thousands of pounds, for an advert in a magazine, and they said, oh yeah, advertising doesn't work, we tried it, we didn't get anything from it. And I remember saying, oh right, what was the advert? And they showed me the advert, and it looked really beautiful. It was for their new restaurant, really beautiful. It's a picture of food with the backdrop of the restaurant, really gorgeous. Their logo was visible on it, but that was it. There was no address. There was no, you don't need a table reservation to come in, or, you know, click here for a reservation, and then a website detail, but no phone number, no nothing. So whoever was looking at that, unless they looked at the logo and kind of squinted to get the restaurant name and then Googled, they would never know where it was or what it was about or anything. It just looked like a nice photograph in the magazine with a little logo in the corner. So it's really, really important, and it's so often overlooked, that you can miss at the final hurdle. So barriers, and so quite often there are barriers, and this is again why quite a lot of people, when they speak to me, they go, oh, we're really overwhelmed by it. And it's because these are the 4 things that haven't already got in place. So if you haven't got these 4 things in place, it can feel very overwhelming. You're unsure of what you need to do in order to put things right, and in order to get results with your PR or your advertising or your social media. It can all feel very overwhelming, and it's very easy to procrastinate and go, no, I'm not going to do that now. I'll go and clean the house instead, or I'll go and do this, or no, I don't need to do that. It's not important for me to do that. And quite a lot of people, that's what they think. So the first one is no real strategy. So it might be a business that when it first established or set up 7 years ago, they had a strategy in place, they knew what they were doing, they had a business plan because they needed it to get the money from the bank. But since then, they've not really revisited it. It's just been kind of put away in a drawer or filed on the computer, and they've not revisited it and looked at the objectives and re-looked at it. So if you don't have any real objectives that you're aiming for, then you kind of, there's a famous quote is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And they say that's so true in your PR marketing. If you haven't got a strategy, then you're just going on a wing and a prayer. And yeah, there'll be businesses out there that are really successful, make loads of money because they have no strategy, but they were just happened to do the right thing at the right time and put it in front of the right target audience, and it worked, but they don't really have a strategy behind it. So actually it'll probably be a flash in the pan and maybe not last that long because they don't have a consistent strategy there. And then the next thing kind of follows on for that is a consistent message. And so many businesses that I go into and speak to go, oh yeah, we've got a strategy in place, we do this on social media, And then we have this website, and then we have email newsletters that go out, and then we also have people who obviously customer facing, who speak to people, salespeople, and we have brochures, and so I go, oh, right, okay, so let's have a look. So quite often I get brought in to do marketing communications audits. So I'll go in and gather up all their marketing communications, whether it's looking at the social media, whether it's their printed flyers and brochures, and their website. And quite often there's a bit of a disconnect and there isn't consistency. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, I've noticed the logo on your website actually isn't the same one that's on your social media. Oh yeah, well we paid a social media person to come in and they said that our logo needed just updating a bit for social media to make it work better. So we did that. We just changed the colours so it looked more Insta-worthy. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't now match your website. Oh yeah, but it kind of don't. No. And or I go there and there's old brochures that, oh yeah, we've had them like 10 years. And so we had a big loads printed and big boxes of them, and it was before we got rebranded. So yeah, it's got all the old things on, but it doesn't matter. We'll just use them until we use them all up, because it's false economy to just recycle them and get more done. But again, there's no consistent message, and it's so important, because before someone will buy whatever it is you're selling, that technically they need to see your brand or your offering at a minimum of 6 times before they will then actually buy from you. So whether that's seeing you do a live on social media, whether that's going then to your Instagram page or your Facebook page and seeing information on there, whether they then click onto your website to read a blog post that you've just done, whether they pick up a flyer or a brochure of yours, whether they meet you at a networking event and you give them a business card, everything needs to be consistent. So the image that you're portraying for your business needs to be a consistent brand image, so it makes sense to that customer. And the same goes for your PR. So when the journalist gets your email, or if you've tweeted them or whatever, saying, I've got this great idea for a story, blah, 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 and in your 2 lines you summarize what the story is, and they're interested and they think, oh, actually, then they click your links that you've included to your website or social media, and they'll click those. And then if they go onto your website or your social media and there's a disconnect between the language that you use reaching out to them, your brand image, and then what they're seeing there, if it doesn't quite tally up, the odds are they'll just discard the idea because it doesn't quite fit and something isn't quite right and it doesn't really make sense. Once I helped Sandra, one of my old course participants, to get her messaging right, and that linked in with the tone of voice as well for her brand, that's when she got the coverage in the Metro, because it all flowed. So the lady from the Metro will have gone onto her social media and seen that that has a similar feel to it as her website, and it's all about feeling and how your brand feels. And the disconnect, Sandra won't mind me telling you, the disconnect was that when you meet Sandra, she's so bubbly, warm, caring, just lovely personality, and you just get this emotion from her. And the social media was like that, but her website was very corporate, very formal, photographs, she wasn't smiling on them, and it was just a disconnect. And as soon as she changed the feel of a website, just by updating some of the images, changing some of the words she was using, all of a sudden it all clicked into place. And it's like, it is the image on this slide is so true. It's like a jigsaw piece, and everything's got to fit together. And when it does, it works. It's like magic. And confidence as well can be a barrier, a huge barrier. People thinking they don't know what they're doing. can be a huge barrier, when actually you probably do know what you're doing because you've done it for a long time, and you've also been being bombarded with lots of experts on PR, on experts on marketing, who are saying, oh, you need to try this, you need to try that, you need to try that. And you might be chopping and changing different strategies and different techniques because one person's saying something that contradicts with someone else. So you tried that for a few weeks, didn't work. We'll try something else for the next few weeks, see if that works. But again, it's all consistency. And you need to be consistently doing the right thing for it to work. And so you need to have the confidence that what you're putting in place will work. It just takes time. There isn't necessarily a super quick win. So the fact that Sandra got Metro coverage that she'd wanted for 5 years before she'd even finished the course is amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm so thrilled for her. And it's because she implemented everything. After every single session, she went to work and implemented every single thing that I told her to do. And it worked. But it's just that confidence to know that it's going to work, and knowing in your heart of hearts that what you're doing is right and it will make a big difference to people. So yeah, as I've said, you can overcome these, correctly identify your target audience, have your clear strategy, have a consistent message, find the hook or the story for your media, and include a call to action in everything you do, and make sure that call to action is the right one for you to achieve your objectives also. Okay, so stay tuned. I've got some more prize announcements coming up, but I want to tell you a little bit about how I can help, and I'll give you a little bit of information about my New Biz to PR Wiz course that's starting on the 11th of May. It could be for you if you feel you don't have the time to spend on PR and marketing, you're unsure exactly what to focus on of the million things that you're told to do every day. Maybe you've done lots of courses already and you're unsure now how it all fits together. And do you know what it is that will help to drive those results and more sales for your business? Maybe you need some assistance to find out exactly what that is. And lots of people talk about consistency. So that's really, really important. But you need to be consistently doing the right things. And are you trying to implement advice you've been told from different experts? And then, as I said, you do it for a few weeks before it doesn't work. And then you go on to the next bit of advice and see if that works. Well, my advice is to stop and to go step by step through my course, and that will lay out the foundations for your marketing strategy. And from there on, you can build your PR, your advertising, any promotions, any sales, whatever you want to do I can guarantee it will be more successful once that foundation is in place and you know what your objectives are and everything that you need in place. It will just work because it does. So the course will include marketing and PR overview. So we'll dig deep into explaining exactly what marketing is and exactly what PR is and the differences with them and how they work. We'll look at how to position yourself in the marketplace, your branding, how to make sure the branding you've got is right for you and what is right for you. We'll look at your marketing strategy and exactly what that should look like. The pricing, your messaging, and your PR and social media as well, and deciding exactly what will work best for you. And by the end of the course, you will be able to just write your marketing strategy. I will give you all the components so you can write your marketing strategy and start doing PR that will be more successful. So you'll receive a lifetime access to the course slides and all the recorded sessions. You'll get a workbook for each of the sessions. All the sessions are recorded, and so you can play them back anytime. You get a dedicated WhatsApp group. So there'll be a safe space to share ideas and questions, and also to network with other classmates. So previous participants of the course have found that really valuable. And even now, even after the course has finished, the WhatsApp chat is still there, and quite often they'll jump in and say, oh, I've just got this new flyer that I've finalized. Could you just cast your eye over it and check you're happy with it? Or we check this link works from a new website, and the other participants will do that for each other. And that's one really good benefit of the course. So I've got some bonuses as well. So my first bonus is it was my Canva Basics workshop, but I'm actually doing a new version of it called Easy Canva Workshop, which will be 3 live sessions in June. It's not yet on sale, but it will be, and it will take you from being Canva confused to a confident Canva creator. It'll deliver all the basics, including introduction to Canva, how to set your own brand look and templates, how to create content and reuse it and resize it for the different social platforms, so you save time and energy. And there'll also be a mini workbook for it as well. And you'll get lifetime access for that, so you'll get that thrown in. Then second bonus is this amazing lady, Alice Golding. She is an Instagram expert, because the feedback I've had from lots of you and lots of the people who are in my free group as well is that they need advice on how to best use Instagram. And she's giving free access to her online course, How to Make Your First Sale on Instagram in Just 7 Days. And she'll also do a live masterclass on how to reach more of your ideal clients through using Instagram Reels, which I know Reels is something that I've had feedback from lots of people in my group. They really, really need help with Reels. And so she will help you. Third bonus is Cali Stewart, who I'm very, very excited about, because she is the success psychologist. So she's the UK's leading expert on identity. She works with CEOs and business owners who want it all. She has various different courses that have been great, very successful, including Design Your Ultimate Life Vision, Become the Ultimate You, have fulfilled success in every area of your life. And she will be delivering a masterclass on confidence, because again, that's something that I've recognised that quite a lot of people who do my course or are in my free group need help with. So she will do that. And then the bonus 4 that I'm even more excited about is this amazing lady, Catherine Ann Byam. She is just phenomenal. She makes me feel like I don't multitask enough and I don't have enough things going on in my life, because she has even more than me. She has a Global 5% podcast. It's in the Global 5%, sorry. Called Where Ideas Launch, all about sustainable innovation. She's all about social impact and resilience. She's amazing, and quite a lot of the big business gurus out there use her because of her knowledge on LinkedIn, and so they pay her a lot of money to manage their LinkedIn accounts for them, to help them with LinkedIn strategy. She's an absolute genius. She's really, really good, and she will deliver a masterclass to you on using LinkedIn more and how to really, really smash LinkedIn, because quite a lot of people, again, that I speak to don't really make full use of LinkedIn. And I'm someone who's quite guilty of this as well, because in the early days before Facebook was in existence, I was very active on LinkedIn. And so if you go on my LinkedIn, you'll see that I've got a load of connections. I'm like super mega on LinkedIn, but I've recently don't really use it. And probably the last 5 years I've hardly done anything on there. So that was one thing that I was like, right, I need some advice, and she is amazing, really, really amazing. I've not had a chance to implement what she's told me yet, but I will be doing at some point. But she's phenomenal. So I'm so excited that she's agreed to be part of this. So the total of those bonuses, so my Easy Canva workshop's worth about 60 quid. Alice Golding's Instagram training and her time is worth £176. Cali Stewart's Confidence workshop is worth £997, and Catherine and Byam's LinkedIn is worth over £1,000. So total bonuses for my course are worth almost £3,000. So level 1 for my course, and the total cost is £650, and that's split over 2 monthly payments of £325. Or there's a discounted amount of £595 if you pay in one go. As well as getting the course modules, you'll obviously get the 3-month WhatsApp group support, and also a live catch up after the course for any Q&A. So quite often when I've done courses before, I've always find you do the course, you're bombarded with information, you've left to kind of get on with it, and it's maybe a few weeks, few months down the line that you actually think, oh, I wish I could have a Q&A now because I've implemented some bits and it didn't quite go as planned, and I wish I could just go back and say, what do I do now? This has happened. This isn't quite what I was thinking, you know. And so we'll do a live catch up after the course so that you can then go, Sarah, we implemented this, it didn't quite work. And then I can talk you through maybe what went wrong and help you see how to tweak it and how to do it differently. So so that's an improvement that I've added in. And so then the level 2 is the same as level 1, but you'll also get 2 virtual mini masterminds. So that will basically be you and the fellow members of your group will do live sessions, so you can all talk about what you're trying to implement, any issues you've got in your business, any questions. And quite often when we've done things like that before, for other courses, or just had an impromptu mastermind about something, other members will say, oh, actually, I've got a contact there for you, I can help with that. Or my sister is married to the editor of that publication, I can sort that out for you. And that can really, really work. So I've included 2 virtual mini masterminds for that as well, that I'll facilitate for the group, and you'll get quite a lot out of that. So level 2, the total cost is £850, and that's split across 2 monthly payments. But if you pay up front, then it's £795. If you just pay as one-off. And then the level 3, which is the premium level, you also get one-to-one 90-minute strategy session with me, so we can run through where you're up to. Some people in the past have paid for one of those as a standalone, before the course, so they can kind of see where the gaps are, and some people have paid for me to do one of those with them afterwards. So but I'm going to include that within the level 3, and also a bespoke media list tailored to your own business. So I have because I'm a PR, I have a media database that I subscribe to and pay a subscription fee every year to access journalists, basically, and journalist contact details. So I usually sell a media list for £250 and upwards, but I will include that in the level 3 too. So I will, and the media lists that I have access to are global lists as well. So if your target market, if you're thinking of targeting overseas, then I can pull you a list off for whatever market as well. And the one-to-one 90-minute strategy session with me is worth a couple of £100 as well. So the total cost for all of that, obviously with the course as well, that you get lifetime access to, would be £1,350, and that split into 2 monthly payments, or a discounted amount of £1,295 if you pay it as one fee up front. And I've also got some extra bonuses as well. So the first 5 people to sign up to any level of the course, doesn't matter what level you sign up to, you'll get a copy of my Perfect PR bundle, which contains press release templates, checklists, email templates, top tips for finding story opportunities, and a few other good things like a briefing template for a photographer, also what to include when you send an email to a journalist, loads of helpful things like that, and that's worth about £50. You'll also get a Rockstar package voucher. For your next holiday, if you book it through my company, Sarah Stevens Escapes, and that will basically mean that you get a full concierge service. So, for example, a recent concierge client went to Iceland for their 70th birthday. I organised the whole thing in terms of restaurant reservations, excursions, car transfers, you name it, I did it. So if you want a holiday where you don't have to worry even where you're going to eat that night, I can organise all of that for you. And it also includes airport lounge access, fast track air security passes, so you don't have to queue up for security. And that's worth up to £350. And that will be valid for 2 years as well. And then the first person who signs up to my level 3 package will also get a full marketing communications audit from me for your business. That's worth £995. So I will literally go in to your business and do what I explained that I did before, whereby I'll go in and I'll look at any printed material you have, look at your website, I'll look at all your social media, Google Analytics, you name it, and I'll analyze the whole lot and deliver a report back to you to say what you're doing really well that you might want to do more of, where areas where there might be a need for improvement or a need for synergy, or areas that you might want to rethink or consider changing slightly. I'll do all of that as well for that. So the sign up link is here. So if you did want to take advantage of those subscription bonuses, now's your opportunity to do that. And registration for the course will close on Monday morning, because I know quite a few people look at these kind of things over the weekend, and it will begin on Wednesday the 11th of May. So on to the prizes. So hopefully that's all made sense to you so far. So let's have a look now. I'm just trying to see who is on, because let's have a look. So the People's Champion, I'm pleased to announce, so that's the social supporter who commented on other people's work and basically shouted out and championed other people, is Judith. So Judith, you win.
Thank you.
Welcome. You win. You can either choose from having some chocolate brownies or some like pampering beauty products. It's up to you which one you go for. Well, you don't have to tell me now. You can have a think about it and let me know. Let me know what you prefer, and then I'll arrange to send that to you. And then I've got a little little prize draw. I was going to do those spinny wheel things, but you know the luck I've had with technology this week. I thought it was maybe a bit too much of a risk. Right. I was going to get the hubby to come and draw this for me so you can all see him, but he's got his dressing gown on already, so we won't do that. Oh, okay. The challenge winner is actually Claire Louise, so it's a shame that she's not on. Should I draw it again, do you think? No, it's a bit mean, isn't it? But yeah, Claire Louise has won. So brilliant. And the top referrer was Becky Hale, who actually didn't complete the challenge, but she referred the maximum people into it, which was really good of her. So I'll announce that in the group anyway, and get them their prizes to them. See. And there's actually going to be an extra prize, a bigger prize for the top referrer of the course itself. So if you know of someone who would really benefit from doing the course, that you think, actually, do you know what, they need that course, and I'll send them the details. If they sign up, then obviously the person that signs up the most people will get an afternoon tea, but a level above the afternoon tea I've already given away. This afternoon tea, it's an afternoon tea for two. You get a pack of chocolate shortbread, a box of 6 vegan hazelnut truffles, 2 bottles of mini Prosecco, a Victoria's sponge cake, and a copy of the Custard and Squidge cookbook as well. And Custard, I don't know if you've heard of Custard and Squidge, but they do amazing afternoon teas. I've had a few of them as gifts from people before now, and they are really nice. And I can't have cow's milk, and their vegan clotted cream is so amazing that even my hubby said it was nice. And he never likes anything that is the knockoff alternative. But yeah, so as that. So if you know anyone who wants to take part, and now it's just time for questions. So have you got anything that you'd like to ask me? No?
I think it's more now go away and take in everything that you've spoken about tonight, and then see how it's going to apply. I have got the added bonus next Friday, or on Friday I fly out to Madeira for 8 days. So all I'm thinking about is that at the moment.
Oh,
but then
nice, and sunshine.
Planning to put a lot of this into place after that.
Good. Well, feel free, you know where I am anyway, if you've got any questions at all about anything. Karen, I hope that's kind of made sense, because I know obviously you didn't make the other lives. So I hope that's been useful for you.
Yeah.
Has it?
Definitely, yep. I think I'm just going to double check that I'm in your group so that I can have a look at the challenge and see if that's something that I could maybe even implement at the minute.
Yeah, definitely take a look, because I think it'd be really useful. Certainly to do that, because I've got a few people who missed the lives, and they've done the replays, and they've found it really useful. And I know a few people have had insane weeks and then been away this weekend as well, so only got halfway through the challenge too. So I know there'll be a few people that'll be playing catch up on it anyway. So yeah, so feel free, if you're in that group anyway, which I'm sure you are, I'm sure I've admitted you as a person, but anyway, have a look, and feel free to pop any questions in there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for giving your time, Sarah.
It's okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been really interesting. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.